Hello all and welcome to another Caffeinated Entertainment video. It's Art here with a book review for Bird Box by Josh Malerman. It was my Audible sale book pick for Treats, Thrills and Chills. Their Thrills and Chills sale. And let me just say this. It was a great Halloween-ish type read because it was suspenseful, it was chilling, it was spooky in the way it was set up. It was written well, but if I can talk today, there's one flaw that I would say grossly stood out to me, and that would be the fact that it didn't explain why we were where we were. Like, the people have to be blindfolded to not see the creatures or monsters that make them go insane, and that to me wasn't outright explained in the book. Either it wasn't explained or I missed it, but it loses a point because it didn't tell me why we are where we are. Once we got to where we are, it told a compelling, thrilling, suspenseful, chilling story. But when you can't tell me why we are where we are, because I'm presuming it's set in an almost real life world, and to say that life used to be the way we live now and is the way it is in the book, you have to connect point A and point B here, and without the connection, it's going to lose a lot of readers. Obviously, I will be doing a movie comparison review once I watch the movie, and I will, I'm sure, compare and contrast the movie in that review, and maybe the movie will explain where the book doesn't, but we shall see. I liked the character of Mallory, the main character. I liked all the characters. It gave me a vibe almost like the Diary of Anne Frank, because you had the even though that was a real story, it gave me that kind of vibe because you had these refugees from life having to hold up in a house from an invading force. So it gave me kind of that vibe. It also gave me a Left 4 Dead vibe for those who play games. Not really a Walking Dead vibe, but a Left 4 Dead vibe. Because it felt like a team going in. So it gave me that, and it gave me a bunch of other positives and a bunch of other missives. It was very... It had me hooked in a sense, although it did have me confused. And I think the confusion is the main part that sticks with me. I think it ended on a very satisfactory note. I think that once you get invested in the story, you will be satisfied with the conclusion of said story. But it did not end... it did not begin where I thought it needed to begin. So that to me is where it failed. That to me is where it needed to succeed better and didn't. I'm really super curious now what the Netflix movie is going to have to offer, and I'm almost certainly going to watch it this weekend, and almost certainly a review will be up for it next week at some point. But I haven't made that decision. You'll have to watch the currently reading update for that complete decision. So, and that would be this coming Saturday's currently reading update, not the one previous. So, that being said, I thought it was chilling. It was suspenseful. Enough happened off screen because we don't really see. It's left to our imagination what the creatures who have lost their minds and the monsters look like. So Josh Malerman did a wonderful job of that, and I love how he dedicated the book to his mother. Like, that was because my mom's important to me, so I totally get that from that perspective. Moms are always important. But with that said, it did feel like a satisfactory one-off story. Now, I do think a prequel could be made and potentially should be made to fill in the gap from point A to point B. Like, that's where I don't, because we're basically plopped down in the middle of the story he wants to tell. Now, granted, that may have been the story he wanted to tell, but to me, I like my background. I like a complete narrative, and to me, it failed to be complete narrative. I'm struggling what to give it on the GoodReads scale, to be perfectly honest. And I'm going to lead off with this. Normally I say this for the end, but I'm going to say this now. Leave in the comments down below if you've read Bird Box, the book, or listened to the book. And leave your spoiler-free comments and see if you agree with me or not. It's perfectly okay. I'm an adult. We can have discussions. I'm always open for debate. I love debate. But if you agree with me, or maybe even tell me where I missed the explanation from point A to point B. That being said, on my own scale, to me it would be a read it and love it. I don't necessarily think you have to own it. I own the audiobook version from Audible, as you all well know from the digital book haul. But it is a great, fun. To me, it was enjoyable. I read it at the right time. I read it around Halloween. I listened to it some on Halloween, so it set the mood, and it was the correct spooky level of spooky. But to me, it's a 4 out of 5 star book on GoodReads, because that lack of explanation still bugs me, and it's been a few days since I finished it, and that still grinds my gears or gets into my crawl. I can't abide it. I just can't abide. I can't do it. I can't abide it. Like, it still bothers me. And because it bothers me, I can't give it a full 5 stars. Do I think Josh Malerman's going to wind up being a great writer? Yes. Would I pick up another book of his? Absolutely. Is Bird Box worth the hype? It's so hard to say whether a book is worth the hype or not. It truly is very difficult to say whether a book is worth its weight in hype. I'd have to say no to that one, but it's definitely worth a read, and it's definitely a high quality piece of fiction. And before I ramble on too much, and before this bugs me more and more and more, before I have to, before I start getting a headache and it bugs me too much more, I'm going to say that, I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more, please ding the notification bell to be notified when I upload a video. If YouTube is working that day, because we all know YouTube is YouTube. But without further ado, like I said before, leave in the comments down below your thoughts on Bird Box and all that jazz. Let me know what other spooky books you read around the Halloween time, if you happen to read them. And without further ado, happy reading, everybody. I'll see you again soon. And peace.